this Senate wants it to leave it on the books for 5 years. Was that your objection? Were you a no vote regardless?
No, the 5 years is a no-go. I mean, you hit on it. It's actually $4.4 billion over 5 years that this tax would raise. And that's, if we have a problem short-term, and we do need to solve it. But this is growth of government, as you just said beforehand. This is a money grab that the administration is trying to move. It will raise $883 million per year.
So what do you do to solve the problem? What's the temporary fix in Barrow Peacock's mind?
I think with the House, when they did their 18 months and they worked on it, and that keeps the pressure on us to do our job, to look at cuts. Right now, we have no cuts that are really coming through. The one bill that had a few cuts in it, House Bill 122, is being held up in Senate Finance. And they're not even letting the cuts through. Calls to my office and people I've spoken to, they said they want us to do some cuts. They want us to cut. So far, we have done 0 cuts on the Senate side.
So, pardon me, Mr. Barrow, on the governor's side, all his people, cut. What are they just blowing smoke? Is that your opinion?
Well, there has been some executive order cuts, and there has been some cuts through the Joint Legislative Committee on the Budget. But for the overall scheme of things, they're $4. They want to raise over $400 million in taxes for only $89 million in cuts.
Mm.
I mean, it's a shame that they're doing this. And now when you see that they're doing this for 5 years, that's a money grab.
So
that is growth of government.
What would is there a state sales tax increase length, if you're good with the penny, that you would support, that you would vote yes on?
Every bill you have to really look at its details, because there was some stuff that they put in this bill that they said, as revenue increases, it'll come off very quickly. But when you read the language, it's smoke and mirrors. They have no intentions of really taking this penny off over the next 5 years.
Wait. So what you're saying is that, and I want you to get into a little more detail so that even I could follow. So what you're saying is that there were little caveats, addenda, all sorts of stuff in this bill that even though it said it goes off the books in 5 years, it may not have?
Right, because when you read the language, it says we're only beginning of the legislative session, and then it also will say less any increase in general sales tax and vehicle sales tax. Well, that's all of our sales tax. That's in the 4 pennies we have now and this new one. So basically, we're not going to, the way they have this amendment worded to try to entice us to vote for it, saying, we'll take the penny off as revenue comes in, they're playing games with it.
So basically, the 5-year penny for 5 years, what you're telling me is, just so I got it clear in my head, is that the way it was worded and just the small print, if you will, is that you don't think that penny would ever come off the books.
No, it would not come off the books.
Why does that not surprise me? Barrow, let me ask you this. We have a week left to go. There's still a lot of funding issues up in the air. Talk to me about the med school. This community is now in a turmoil about the future of our med school. Are the threats real? Where are we in terms of saving the med school in Shreveport?
I think the threats are real. They are holding that over our head. They are trying to put pressure on us to vote for our tax. I know we have to do something. I've clearly stated we need to do something. There are things that I can do. I can't go for 5 years. Let's get out of this. Look back 5 years ago. What if we'd done this? Where were we as a state 5 years ago? The price of oil was over $100. The Haynesville Shale was still going. Things were pretty good 5 years ago. And to do a bill like this, that just signals that this administration is not interested in really controlling the growth of government.
Barrow, we were talking to Greg Tarver a couple of minutes ago, and he said, "Hey, we found some money, this secret treasure trove somewhere." And he was a little hesitant. In fact, he was zip-lipped on where it was or what it was. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. There's always every year you've got things of saying refinancing bonds, and there might be some money that comes in from the refinancing when interest rates are lower. But, those are one-time funds that come in, and they definitely can help with our shortfall this year. That's what the rainy day fund is for. That's why we're using the BP settlement to solve this problem that we're facing. And I want to solve the problem. We need to solve the problem at hand this year. We are in a recession, as the economists have said, and we do need to do this in some kind of temporary solution. 18 months is what the House of Representatives passed. That's powerful. It's not fun. It hurts, but it's something everybody would be in this boat together. We'd get through this. It would keep pressure on the legislature to look at a lot of these exemptions. A thing that's coming up right now is vendor compensation. We pay Walmart to collect sales tax. We pay Target to collect sales tax. And there should be some compensation, but that's a big number there. The structure of rebates. Right now, we say that you can get your non-refundable rebates first, and then your refundable, so the state would have to cut a check to you. If we change that language where it says refundable first, that brings in money to the state in excess of $300 million a year. So those are things that the small businessman, that doesn't affect, but the big guys, we're not cutting a check to them anymore. That's the kind of things that we need to do.
Senator Barrow Peacock, thank you so much for your time. Again, you voted no on the sales tax, and I'm sure we will be in touch between now and when the session ends.
Well, thank you. And, Aaron, I want to know how much money's in your jar because I know you've been saying some words.
There's a few dollars,
Not quite enough to keep the med school open. Barrow, thank you very much, man. We appreciate your time.